With all the ballots now counted in Russia's presidential election, Vladimir Putin is winning by a large margin, getting over 76% of the vote. It means the 65-year-old will take the country's top job for another 6 years.
In terms of voters, that means more than 56 million people cast their ballots for him, leaving all his rivals far behind. This will be his 4th presidential term.
In this year's race for the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin managed to secure the largest chunk he's ever managed to take in an election. Here we can see his track record in his presidential bids over the years. This year, the vast majority of polling stations were equipped with web cameras, streaming everything that happened, and that meant that anyone could be an observer without even leaving the comfort of their own homes.
Yeah, just log on and watch. It was first introduced during the 2012 presidential election, but it was expanded this time round, and it's earned its money as well because it's helped expose a number of electoral fraud cases this year.
Почему несколько?
This year's presidential election was being monitored by a record number of foreign observers. Over 1,500 had registered before the vote.
Yeah, and among them, people from France, Poland and the UK, with their overall assessment being mainly positive.
I can say that I didn't see any violation. Maybe I was too short time there, but I don't think that any violations were visible for us. We wanted to see how it works. We are particularly interested very much in the transmission line, which is, I see here on very high level. We are obliged in Poland to introduce the system.
We wish that also in Germany we would have the opportunity to elect our president by direct elections.
My overall impression was quite positive. There was no systematic, no fraud or something like this. And we were welcomed as election observers in every polling station. So what I can say from my observations, this was positive, and this was a general mood among the other election observers here in Moscow.
So what is your maybe adjective or a few adjectives that you can use or some other words to describe this?
It's a success of freedom of speech, and this is our most important success during this campaign.
Was the vote itself clean?
We should be realistic about this huge amount of support of Putin. This result, well, maybe it would be not 75%, but 68% or whatever, but still we should admit that the majority people now really want this president.
About Britain, the attempted assassination of the rogue Russian agent in Britain, and here was his response.
The first thing that comes to mind is that if it was a military-grade poison, then people would, of course, have died on the spot. Russia has no such substances. We destroyed all our chemical weapons as monitored by international inspectors. I think anyone with common sense understands that it is nonsense for Russia to do such things before the presidential election and the Football World Cup.
Obviously, there were cheers. You know, people couldn't believe. First, they expected the numbers to go down as the votes were counted, but as they went up and up, they're very happy. The champagne came out, and you know, there's a lot of clapping shoulders and high fives.
I see you smiling when you said the champagne was coming out. Of course, you kept a professional distance from the buffet, yeah?
I tried.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, you did. You obviously, as you said, was asked many questions, and this is going to be his 4th term. Was he asked about plans ahead of that, beyond that?
Well, there's a lot of questions about, you know, all sorts of aspects of what he was going to do in the future, but one of them was whether he would attempt to change the constitution to perhaps run again.
At the moment, I'm not planning any constitutional changes.
Do you think you will be in the presidential seat until 2030? Of course, if you change the constitution.
I think what you're saying is laughable. I'm not going to stay there until I turn 100.
This is massive. Cambridge Analytica harvested 50 million Facebook profiles. Their chief was caught talking about honey traps, fake news and spies. Data firm executives caught boasting of dirty tricks to swing elections. Zuckerberg's worth 5 billion less. Facebook shares have nosedived. This Cambridge Analytica worked for Trump. For Vote Leave, the Brexiters. They subvert democracy. They use the media, social media, to rig the narrative. Seeds inside people's nuts. But listen to this. Just 3 months before Theresa May called the snap general election, the Daily Mail was boasting about Theresa May and Cambridge Analytica, and Theresa May wants an army of computerised Trump mind readers to help her win the next general election. It said Tory chiefs have been in talks with polling experts, Cambridge Analytica, for 3 months and a deal is close. There's now a warrant out for Cambridge Analytica. The article said the company is run by old Etonian Alexander Nix. He uses computers to mine huge amounts of data on voters. Your favourite food, football team, TV shows, and Tory chiefs want the polling data experts credited in playing a key role in Donald Trump's victory. You're like, you what? Theresa May and Cambridge Analytica, the Tories and her media, her campaign, they're an absolute basket case. Bankrupt, illegal shower. They don't care about people, they care about manipulation. Theresa May's Tories are unethical. Their lies and smears against Corbyn. Their campaigns bear all the hallmarks of what Cambridge Analytica boss was caught on camera saying. The Information Commission has a warrant for Cambridge Analytica. They should have one for Theresa May and the Tories. The Scottish independence referendum, the Brexit vote, the general election. Look at Lyndon Crosby. Jesus Christ, the London mayor election was a disgrace. And Jeremy Corbyn attack ads were identical to the ones Cambridge Analytica used for Trump against Clinton. Theresa May and the Tories and Cambridge Analytica, the Daily Mail, boasting about their links. You know, there's serious questions have to be asked about Tory and media tactics and what skullduggery that they come out with every single day of the week. That's like Theresa May and the Daily Mail boasting. This is elections. They're rigging it. Rigging it.